What is going on? And we are live. Hello, good evening, YouTube. Live. It's your boy Billy Rowe. Today is Tuesday, so you know what that means. It is time for a first row intersation. Today's topic is still dreaming with one of my favorite brothers. I got a lot of brothers, but this is one of my favorite ones. Brandon Knowbody Greathouse. I call him Locke because that's how long I've known him, but we call him, he goes by Knowbody now. So we just respect the name, respect the gangster. Anyway, I want to take a moment just to thank you guys for tuning in live. For those who have been able to catch us live, those who are watching us on the replay, thank you for tuning in on the replay. But I want to get right into it tonight. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a great intersation with good conversation and great growth. So with that, I want my guest, Knowbody Greathouse, to say what's up to the people.
What up, everybody? This is Knowbody. I'm in there chilling. I'm saying I'm in LA doing it from the car. So y'all gonna have to bear with me. We getting it in though. I ain't gonna miss out on this opportunity. So I'm here. I'm live, baby. Yeah.
I appreciate it. That's the thing. It's like these are real life interviews, so they kind of happen where they happen, especially with the topic being still dreaming. Sometimes you got to do your dreaming in motion. So number one, I appreciate you, brother, for coming on.
In the bushes.
I appreciate you coming on. We already got people starting in the chat. But I want to take a moment for those who are unfamiliar with the word Intersations to share what that is and what that means to me. What Intersations is a lens into conversations that I have. I have tons of friends, family, coworkers, people that I've developed close relationships with, and we have conversations on a regular basis. Not always the same people, sometimes different people, various topics. And those conversations tend to go beyond the surface level into a deeper level that help me with my personal growth and also help them with their personal growth. So what Intersations is, it's where interview meets conversation. And when I merge those two together, I get Intersation. So it's a lens for you to be able to see inside the conversations that I'm having or that we are having in hopes of you being able to glean growth and also share your experience with us so that we can glean growth from them as well. This is not a two-way conversation between Knowbody and I. This is a conversation where you'll visually see Knowbody and I interacting, but we definitely encourage you to interact and engage in the chat. For those who are already here, I appreciate it. See, somebody knows the name. Lockdown's the name. We encourage you guys to participate, to interact not only with us, but interact with each other in the chat as well. If there's a question that somebody answers and you have something that you want to add to the answer, or somebody asks and you have something you want to add to the answer, please feel free to do so because we encourage that. I hope you guys enjoyed this journey. And so with that, I want to give my brother Brandon Knowbody Greathouse an opportunity to introduce himself. Locke, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What up? My name is Brandon Knowbody Greathouse, aka Lockdown, aka the Black Merlin, because it's magic when I'm working. You know what I'm saying? We be doing it. Yeah, I guess you can call me an entrepreneur. I was about to say entrepreneur, but that's just not how we're riding right now. But yeah, I've been chasing my dreams and doing what I feel like makes me happy for the last, I don't even know, like as long as I can remember. So, and you know what I'm saying? We on here talking about dreams. So I have a clothing line called Still Dreamin. I've ran a dance studio for the last 8 years. Traveling the world, doing dance stuff and just making music and enjoying life. And this is the perfect opportunity to do it because I'm in LA right now because I just finished, getting a sponsorship deal from Roland, like the 808 company, and then another company called Kaplan Cables, super huge cable industry, like ridiculous love right now. And these dreams are coming to life because I kept dreaming, I kept doing it, and I didn't stop. So I'm Knowbody, and I'm your local dancer or the guy that's in line in front of you dancing, and y'all like he's a weirdo, but them weirdo moves is making moves. Yeah.
Yeah, baby. So
Baby.
I want to share why I brought you on for this particular topic before we jump in. So I've known Knowbody, Brandon, Locke. I call him bunch of different things. R&B squared, the second B in R&B squared, forever. I call him tons of things, but I've known him since I was 15 years old. And there was something about our connection that when we interacted with each other, we brought out like each other's light, whether that was we were at church, whether we were at school, whether we were dancing, whatever it was, we brought out each other's light. But I also know, because of how we grew up so close together, our struggles that we went through, from riding that bike that fell apart. we were riding a bike that literally fell apart while we were riding it. You know, back in the days when you had one bike with two people, somebody on the handlebars, that bike gave up. So I know our struggles that we've come from. I know his struggles and I know my struggles. So when it comes to this topic of still dreaming, I've chose him because of the fact that not only is he still dreaming as an individual, he's also imparting and helping other people achieve their dreams. And I think it's something that just goes completely unnoticed to the naked eye, but seeing people that are dancing with the Jabberwockies, seeing people that are dancing with people who have won television competitions, seeing people that he has literally mentored and cultured and groomed in order to be dance instructors and following their dreams and following their visions. So when I'm looking to bring you guys somebody to speak on a particular topic, I'm bringing them not because they're the best polished representation of it. I'm bringing it to them because I know either their story or I've experienced some of their story, and I can see with my own experiences or see from their experiences what growth they've promoted in other people. So that's why I brought him on for this topic today. So with that, Locke, I want to ask you, and I'm going to be calling him Locke all day, but you guys can refer to him as Knowbody. With that, I want to ask you my very first question that I ask everybody when I bring them on an Intersation is, what does this topic, still dreaming, mean to you?
What does still dreaming mean to me? Still dreaming for me is a way of life. It's a lifestyle that you don't just dream your dream and then go work a 9-to-5. Like, if you have a dream, you go achieve the dream, and then you build another dream, and then you go achieve that dream, then you build another one and go dream that. You keep going. It's like there's so many people in the world that I see that had these amazing dreams, and then they went to work at Costco. And that's it. Their dream literally stopped and they just worked. And then at 40, 45, they realize I'm not doing anything that makes me happy, but I made a lot of money at Costco. And now I'm unhappy with life. And I'm like, what were you planning on doing? What was your dream? What made you happy? I forgot. I don't know. And for me, I didn't want that to be my narrative. I wanted my narrative to be, this is what I said I wanted to do. When I was 16, I said I wanted to open a dance studio. It didn't happen till I turned 30. But after that, I ran it for 8 years. I said I wanted to tour the world, rapping, dancing, and doing what I do. And I'm 38. I'm rapping, I'm dancing, and I'm touring the world, doing what I love to do. And I'm, even though it might seem outreach, it might seem like not something.
Sorry, Locke, you're breaking up.
Happening at a rapid rate for breaking up.
You broke up a little bit. It may seem like what?
It's not happening at the rapid rate that you think it should happen. But for me, my consistency of chasing my dreams, regardless of what the odds are starting to pay off on a high level, like to where, like, if anybody knows who Roland is, that's like one of the foundational like musician groups. Like there's Yamaha, there's Roland, and then I didn't realize Roland makes Boss, and they also make V-Moda, and they also make all these other sound design companies that come underneath the Roland brand. So when I'm walking into the headquarters of Roland, talking to the VP of International Artist Relationships, like, that's crazy. I'm talking to the man, and then I go from talking to him to talking to the VP over all of the United States artists, and I'm sitting in their office, and we're going back and forth on ideas, and they're doing the same thing that I thought that I was thinking about in my living room in Sacramento. And they're like, wow, you're doing it already? We're trying to do that. So yeah, let's team up. Like, And it's amazing to see how my ideas and my vision and stuff that I see, they're trying to bring to life on the highest corporate level of musicianship. And I'm like, man, and they're like, you'd be perfect for it. Bruh. So when you chase your dreams and you really, really start pushing for it, everything starts to line up for you. The stars align, as they say, and things start to happen. And right now, I'm watching literally the stars align, like working with a great company called World of Dance. They're giving me the opportunities. And all I have to do is keep dreaming and keep pushing forward. So that's what still dreaming means to me. And you're gonna you're gonna hear a whole lot about this.
So that's the easiest question you get for tonight, because now we're getting ready to get into the meat. So I agree with you where, with dreams, it may seem like there's this area of, I'll call it the dead zone, where you're doing all this work, you're doing all this hustle, you're doing all this grind, but nothing seems to be taking off. But what you don't realize is I feel like almost every dream starts below the surface. And so that buildup is what you're doing to get to the surface. But once, a plant gets its roots and the seed breaks and all those things happen, once that plant gets to the surface, you see it come out and you start to see the very first fruit of the labor. And then as it grows, it gets the nutrients and all those things, and it gets bigger and bigger until it's time to harvest that fruit or that vegetable. That's how dreams are very much. Dreams are very much like that. And I can totally relate, not from any sponsorships yet, but if anybody wants to sponsor, I'm for that. But with sponsorship, it's like, had you not done all that initial work, you don't get to the place where somebody says, I want to put my money behind you. I want to put my brand behind you. I want to put my energy and my efforts behind you because you are trying to move into a position or into a direction that I'm trying to move in. So with that, I hope you're ready for this because it's time to ask some questions. So the first question I have to you is, first question I have for you is, in your opinion, what exactly is a dream?
For me, it's something that is bigger than just a goal for me. Like, yeah, you can have a goal. I want to run a mile. That's a goal. But for me, like something that's outside of the reach of something you feel like you physically can do. So if I know I can physically go teach a dance class, that's not a dream to be, oh, my dream is to teach this one class on Tuesday nights in the middle of the hood. That's not a dream. That's like, you can go do that. A dream is like, I want to teach all around the world, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to figure it out, but this is my dream. This is what I see myself doing. Now I have to deconstruct that and figure out how I'm going to get it there. So for me, that's when I look at it, something as a dream. It's not just a goal, it's something that I know I can achieve. Like I didn't know I would be rapping on stage in Europe. But at 16, I told myself I want to be rapping on stages all over the world. I almost gave up on rapping completely. Like I was done. 2010, I was like, I'm not doing no more shows. I'm done. Open a dance studio, start running that instead. Now 2018, who's on tour in Europe? That's crazy. So the dream is something that's outside of the normal realm of things that you can achieve on your own. Simple answer.
I like that. Outside of the normal realm of things you can achieve on your own. I like that. That's actually a really good definition of a dream. And you kind of touched on it a little bit, where a dream is not a goal. Because goals you can kind of hit, and maybe I'll ask you in this way, goals you can kind of hit in relative different stages of your lifetime. Like I could have a goal to do a layup. I could have a goal to make a jump shot and relatively hit that early in life. But in your opinion, are dreams something that are almost like a lifetime event, like something you're going to achieve over the course of your entire life, or that it's going to take a substantial portion of your life to achieve? What are your thoughts on that about dreams?
Honestly, now that I'm in it and I'm living this, it doesn't have to be a lifetime. I feel like it took a lifetime because I really didn't believe in what I thought I could do, if that makes sense. Like I thought I could do it, like, yeah, one day I want to do this type thing versus I'm going to do this one day and let me put in the work to make that come to life. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Like, because I always wanted to open a dance studio from 16 on, but there was one moment to where I was like, I'm going to open a dance studio right now. And I got on Craigslist and I started looking up studios and the rental rates and how much would it be per square foot for this, and figuring out who can be a sponsor and what all the things that go into when you actually believe you're going to do it versus I want to do it. Like when you really believe, you start taking those steps and you start putting action to your faith, because faith without works is dead. So if you're not putting action to your faith, you kind of really ain't got faith. You got a want. So I started putting in the work and it became life. So when I say it doesn't take forever, it takes, it for me is more, how much do you really believe it? How much do you really want to invest into that dream? Because if you invest everything you got into that dream, people might look at you stupid, might call you dumb, but like, that ain't gonna never work. You need to stop, go work at Sara Lee, do something safe.
Hey, wait, hold on. That's for real. You really did work at Sara Lee. Don't be throwing in the reality like that.
That was what they told me. Go get a job at Sara Lee because it's safe and you'll get benefits and you can go up 25 cents a year. And by the time you work 20 years, you can retire. And then 4 years later, Sara Lee goes bankrupt and the whole thing closes down. Now it would have been 4 years of my life wasted. So yes, you can follow what your parents tell you, follow what society tells you. But if you have a dream in your heart and you know that it's what you're called to be and who you're supposed to be, run for that junk. There's no downside of, okay, if I made it, that means I made it. If I don't make it, I'm in the realm of where I want it to be in the first place, and I might just adjust to make it to where I'm supposed to be. Feel me?
Right. Right. So then you've already shared a couple of your dreams as far as music, the dance studio, being on stages around the world. What are some of your other dreams as far as, because, you know, I know you have 2 daughters, my nieces. What are some of your dreams, not necessarily for them, but for yourself, for them? So I guess not really a dream, but what is your goal of leaving behind a legacy, or the legacy that you want to leave behind for your daughters?
For me, honestly, what's pushing me to achieve these dreams is I want to show them that they can do anything that they want to do in life. Like anything. If they believe they can do it, they can do it. And the best way to show them that is to be that example and to not be afraid to chase my dreams. If I'm afraid to chase my dreams, it gives them every excuse to be afraid to chase theirs. So honestly, my daughters is my, people don't get it. They don't see it sometimes. And that's not for me to make them see it. I know what I'm doing. I know if I achieve these dreams at the highest level and finance anything that they want to do and that the family wants to do, and then 2, they can do anything they dream that they can do, because I came from literally nothing. There was a time where I was a day away from being homeless, and I just started working. And even now I'm struggling. I go through my struggles. I'm like, man, I need money for this or this or this or this. And then in my head, I'm like, yo, you got 2 arms, you got 2 legs, and you know how to grind. Go get it. And I get up and I put in the work and I find a way. Why? Because that's what was put in my heart. And nothing in this world is handed to you. Yes, life ain't fair. Everything goes bad. The police being the police. The government is the government, and that's not going to change with us complaining about it. So I got to outwork the system to be able to achieve what I believe that I can achieve.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What about, so, because you just touched on it when you're saying, you know, like police are going to be police, government's going to be government. You got to still be you at the end of the day. What is your goals when it comes to not just being on stages around the world to be seen. Because I know you personally, so I know you're not that person. Like, oh, I just want to be seen around the world. I want to be famous. I want to be, no, I know that's not you. But what are your goals when it comes to being, you know, that world changer that you and I were raised, that was spoken into our lives at a very young age, being world changers, being that salt of the earth. What are your goals in that area, or what are your dreams in that area?
Me, yes, I'm gracing these stages, but I see a gap in what the music is what's being presented to people in music. And like I started DJing recently, and I've always played around with turntables, but I never took it serious. But Cool Cuts was like, hey, get on the tables. You can kill it right now because the game is easy. So I started playing on the tables, and he's right, the game is easy. So as I'm DJing, these kids are requesting these songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are your kids, like all of us that are at the parent age. These kids are requesting the most depressing songs I've ever heard in life. And if you grew up around Crandall, you knew the background of your words have power, and what you put into you is going to come out of you and affect what's around you. Bruh, these kids are depressed. They're going through some stuff. They on some suicidal junk. They popping pills. And I'm not talking about hood kids. I'm talking about the white kids in the suburbs that got money and they just going through it. And I'm like, yo, why are y'all stressing so much? And then I listen to the music they listen to every day, 24/7, and sing all the words to when I play. And I'm like, yo, this junk is not okay. They're being spoon-fed depression through the music and through the media and then through everything else. And I'm like, yo, they pills. We back?
We're back.
Then there's that further depression and put you on some other stuff. So that is like, there's a lot of things that need to be changed and corrected. But in our era, we had music that we had the depressing music, but we also had some fun music we can dance to and have fun. And we also had some beats that slap that were like you can get down to, and it wasn't we had more of a variety. So when I'm creating this music, my sole purpose with that last album that I made and the one that I'm making right now is to bring joy to people, because people forgot what it feels like to be happy and to smile and to dance. So they have the club version of joy, which is let's go get drunk. That's not joy. That's drunk. That's a different joy. That's not the same. That's escapism. So if you're going to take escapism as your route to get away from stuff, I might as well give you some music that's going to uplift you in the process.
Right.
So that's why I create. And it's so crazy because if you, I'll start posting some more of the stuff from what happened in Europe on the page, and you'll see like the way they respond. Like the United States is cool, but y'all niggas is some picky niggas and y'all judge a lot. When I went to Europe, they was losing it like on a whole nother level. Like the crowds, thousands and thousands of people going nuts. And the way hip hop is supposed to be, like the arm drop, all that stuff, all of it happened. I DJ'd, I rapped, I danced, and I was being myself. And the response and the reception was so amazing that it showed me that the value for what I could have or who I am is at a level here, and then at home, people don't perceive the value the same, so they don't. And
you're breaking up. You're breaking up again a lot.
I got to bring that up at home.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit. You were saying
the value, and
you were saying about the value being here.
The value is here in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
In the United States, everybody's so judgmental and so like quick to hate that I had to show them this is how they value me here. And then I stopped doing shows in the United States, and now everybody is slowly like, we want you to perform. We want you to perform. I'm like, not till it reaches here. Because if we hitting here in Europe and I come home, that brings this value down. Nope. We staying here all day until this comes up and it matches. then you can really see like, wow, the value for what you're doing is really a perception. Like them shoes that y'all buy that are Jordans that cost $250, the same value is in them fake shoes. You just perceive the value to be different because they were both made in the same factory.
Man, that's crazy. So I want to move forward to the next question. So we're about 25 minutes in already. So this time goes super fast, but I want to move on to the next question. And I think it's an important question to ask because some of us forget to ask ourselves this question. And the question is when did you begin to see your dream in your mind? Not in reality, but in your mind.
When did I begin like dreaming?
Yeah. When did your dream start?
You know, it's crazy. I can remember when I was riding home in the brown bomber with Cranberry.
The brown bomber.
Because Crowder used to pick us all up and take us all home after youth. This fool was driving all over the city to drop us off. So that's dedication and love right there, hands down. I remember one night, because he used to drop me off last because I used to live closest to him. And we sat in the car at 3 in the morning. He was like, what do you see in your life? You need to write down your goals. You need to figure out what you want to be and know it to the point you write it down. That's when I wrote down, I want to own a dance studio. I want to travel the world. I want to do this. So I think I was 16, and it was after a Wednesday night youth service. And it was a long night of praying with me and then show me how to build for my future and how to build these goals. So honestly, I would say at 16, Crandall showed me how to dream on a different level.
So that answers who one of your influencers were. Now, fortunately, I know a little bit about you as far as when you met, well, when you seen Format back in the day. Seeing, brothers who like love God, who are not preaching poison, getting up and ministering. And that's not to say that they didn't have their own struggles with things outside of the church or outside of just everyday life, but getting up and having that courage to present a positive message and do their best to try to live that message. What were some of the impacts of that kind of pushed you into that dance? Because somebody asked earlier, where did you get the name Lockdown? I know that's where that name came from. Lockdown, locking down the dance. I ain't got those moves no more, and my shoulder hurts. But anyway,
yo.
But so what were some of the things that you've seen in those moments that kind of pushed you towards that dream as well?
Honestly, at that moment, I was so in love with breaking and just spinning and breakdancing. I didn't see nothing else. Wasn't worried about girls. Wasn't worried about. I had God and I had breakdancing, and if the beats dropped, I was spinning. And the posse happened, and I tried to be a part of that because my sister was doing it. My mom was like, "Go to practice," and I wasn't really into choreography, but I went, and it was cool. Yeah, whatever. And then the posse had Format, Keon, TJ, Quincy, and Philip Godot. And those were the four like most dominant people in the posse. And they were like, you know what? We want to break off and do our own thing. We're going to call it Format. So they left, and everybody in the posse wanted to go. And I was like, I'm breaking. So I kept breaking. And a couple months go by, and I believe it was TJ and Quincy that walked up on me. TJ, Quincy, and Keon said, hey, we see what you're doing, and we really like what you're doing. We want you to come dance with us. And I was like, okay. And I didn't really think much of it until I started going to rehearsals. And we was at TJ Grandma's house, RIP Grams, and he was having us work like crazy. Like they made me run that routine probably like a good 45 times. You ain't doing it right, do it again. You ain't doing it right, do it again. Till this day, I can still do that whole routine because of how much we rehearsed that joint. And just being around that work ethic and seeing how much they love God and love what they're doing and the passion behind how they work fired something up in me to where I was like, yeah, I'm dancing. We did a couple rap shows, couple dance shows. I was like, I'm dancing, but I want to rap. And I didn't know at the time Keon was writing everybody's verses.
Ghost writing.
And I thought everybody was writing their own verses. Keon was like, write a verse. So I must have spent about 8 hours on that joint. Like, yo, I ain't gonna be the wackest dude on here. So I wrote it, rewrote it, rewrote it, and then Keon was like, spit it. And I spit it for him. He was like, yo, that's pretty dope. And at the whole time, I'm thinking everybody writing their verses. And Keon's like, cool, I got to write another verse. So, and then we started doing stuff. And then me and you start rocking. And
hey, they don't know. They don't know about that. They don't know about that. Come on.
Oh, Roro got bars. Like we was in the living room going in. And don't let it get to freestyle. Because them long trips to Seaside and to LA and to Mama BJ house, we used to put the instrumentals on and just go to work.
Right.
So there was like, for Cousin Mo's question, the name Lockdown came from Keon. He was like, yo, he'd be locking, like pop locking. So he'd be locking and getting down, like breaking. So we're going to call you Lockdown. I was like, okay. And that name stuck and it rolled out and it did its thing. And now I'm at a place to where my journey with dance is to know my body. What came from a concept than Bruce Lee's theory, where it's minimizing the time between thought and action. So when you think something like punch, most people's reaction is slow because they don't train it enough to react right away. So in dance, I train a wave 1,000,000 times. So when a beat hits, boom, it automatically waves. So I minimize the time between thought and action. So my goal in dance was to know my body well enough for it to react to the music as soon as it hits. So that's why I am Nobody. Plus, it's fun when you win a jam and they're like, first place goes to Nobody. You don't show up.
They just play the music and you just let them play it.
Yeah.
So I want to move to the next thing, and I'm kind of conflicted on which question I actually want to move to next, but I'm going to move to an area that because you mentioned earlier about kids soaking up lyrics through for the reasons of escapism and the lyrics being depressing and taking them into dark places. And personally, that because I know that you've experienced challenges in pursuing your own dreams. Can you share some of those experiences that you had where you felt like your dream was slipping away, where you maybe felt like your window of opportunity had closed and maybe it would be safer to, get a corporate 9-to-5 or, go and get a job to, make ends meet? Can you share some of those moments, those darker moments where, most celebrities don't share about the lead up to the limelight? They just talk about, oh, I got it now and this is what I do and $1 million checks and all that stuff, but they don't talk about those dark nights. Can you share some of those experiences with us?
The one that really sticks out to me that is like legitly like scary. I know I was living and doing my thing and I had to move out of where I was at. And because I have a really good relationship with God and I really trust God, and I was kind of forced to learn how to trust God through my mom. Shout out to Mama for making it fun. There was a moment to where I was literally a day away from being homeless. Like I was dancing with a group called Boogie Monsters. I was making decent money, but I couldn't find an apartment, couldn't find anything. And I was out. Like, this is it. Time's over. I got $50 in my wallet and I don't know what I'm going to do. And Boogie Monsters is hosting the club. So I'm just go dance, not stress about it. If I'm homeless tomorrow, I'm homeless tomorrow. So I stand in line and I'm like, nobody knows what's going on. Nobody's tripping. Nobody even asks. And I'm just like, it's about to be bad. Like, it's about to be real bad. And then I prayed and was like, I'm going to just go dance. So while I'm standing in line to get into this little promotional club for the dance crew, I get a call from my mom. It's like, hey, we have this apartment that we are renting out, and it's a 2-bedroom townhome, and you can rent it if you fix it up for $400 a month. Day away from homeless to a 2-bedroom townhome in a matter of standing in line. As long as it took me to stand in line and get to the front door, God provided what I needed. And that, to me, because that whole week I was stressing. And this moment I stopped stressing, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just enjoy life the way it comes. And boom, townhome. She didn't tell me the townhome was in G Parkway, but that's a whole nother story.
Nah, man, that's Shining Star. You're a shining star. Hey,
I was there for that transition. I was there when they changed the name.
Yeah.
So if you know anything about G Parkway, you know, yeah. So it was cool and it served its purpose and everything worked out. And it's like those moments happen and there's struggles. But if you really have faith and you really trust God and you really are on that path to where you know what you're going to do is going to prevail, you'll keep going. If you are like halfway in and halfway out, or if you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing on the grind wise, and you're like spending most of your time out partying and most of your time out drinking and most of your time hanging out with chicks and doing whatever, and you're not investing your time wisely, and then you're mad that your dream doesn't work, that's kind of like on you. You made the choices to make whatever moves you made. And because of your choices, you have those results.
Right. You have that harvest. And, you know, it's funny because a lot of with this content for YouTube that I've been creating, a lot of the content creation process eats into all, if not all of my time to play video games or do anything else. It's one of those things. It is what it is. I think I played video games this weekend for the first time in like 2 or maybe 3 months, maybe 2 months. And you know me, I'm a gamer. I love games. I'll get on the game and drag somebody through Halo like it's nothing. But the problem is that I have to make the decision.
We ain't gonna talk about that NFL.
No, we ain't gonna talk about Madden.
We used to play.
We ain't gonna talk about Madden at all. Look, y'all, I don't play sports video games for a reason. I think Brandon was the last person.
The controller. He was so mad.
It wasn't the controller. I threw the disc and the disc broke.
Yes, right. That fool was so mad. He's like,
in all fairness, the game did glitch. My quarterback hiked the ball, fell down, slid back to the end zone, and wouldn't get up. Nobody touched him until they came and touched him and got touched back. So in my defense, the game glitched, and that's why I don't play sports video games. Anyway, I regress. Going back to not having time to play video games right now because I have to be aware of how bad do you want your dream? How bad do you want to be an influencer and a changer of this world? How bad do you really want to bring positivity into the world? I have to keep all those things in the forefront because those are what are most important and say, well, playing this video game, which was somebody else's dream to build, is not going to get me to that end result of my dream. Now, don't get me wrong. I've met some amazing people, like tangibly touched these people playing video games and because of the community that's there. But I have to realize that what I'm doing right now is not just simply related to increasing positivity in the gamer community. It's gauged at increasing positivity around the world and increasing positivity even in my sons. So I have to put those video games on the back burner. So I know what you mean when you say that grind that you didn't put in, that work that you didn't put in, you don't get the results of the work that you didn't put in. Well, you do get the results, but it's not the results necessarily that you want, but it's the results that you earned. It's the results that you deserve because that's what you did work for and or did not work for. So I think that's important that you share that. So I'm sorry, I had to go on a tangent there really quick because I feel that when you say work. But I want to ask you another question. When it comes to motivation, so they always talk about like in the food industry, the secret sauce. You know, you might like ribs, but you haven't had my ribs because I got the secret sauce. When it comes to your motivation, what is it that keeps you motivated towards going towards your dreams, towards that pursuit? So like, you know, living in G Parkway, that neighborhood is not a safe place. I mean, maybe it is now, but when you was there and when I would come and visit, it wasn't a safe place. So, so What is it that's kept you motivated, kept you pushing forward, even when it seems like your dream is outside of your reach?
Honestly, this sounds crazy, or is crazy basic, I would say. The only times I was never really motivated is when I was doing something that I wasn't happy with doing. Like when I'm doing what I love to do, the motivation is there. I'm having fun. I'm creating dances. I'm making beats. I'm rapping. I'm traveling. I'm doing what I love to do. There's no lack of motivation. It's when I'm working at 9 to 5 and I'm doing just what I have to do to maintain lifestyle or life status, or to be on a level to where people can say that, oh, he's living a dream. That's the stuff that makes me unhappy. And that's the stuff that basically steals the joy, that steals your motivation, which steals your drive. So if you're doing what you love to do, your drive, you can work side jobs, you can do whatever, because you know what the purpose is feeding into your goal. If you have no dream, no goal, no nothing, and you're working a full-time side job, boy, that is a depressing life, and it's very hard to find motivation to do anything outside of, I went to work, I came home, I ate, I played video games because I need a distraction from how bad life is, or not even how bad life is. I need a distraction from how much I'm not happy with what I'm doing. Because if you're investing 8 hours into somebody else's dream that doesn't help your dream at all, it's not even in the field of your dream, you're helping somebody else live their dream, but you're not investing any time in yours. So what I started doing is, if I invest, right now I'm teaching in other people's studios. So the same amount of time I invest teaching at somebody else's studio, I invest in my dreams. If I don't match it, I overdo it on my side, so that I know eventually my dreams come to life and everybody else's I can chill on and let somebody else work for somebody else's dreams.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's important. Putting in as much work as you're willing to put in on your own dreams. If you're going to put somebody else's dream ahead of yours, then you got to make sure yours is the closest second. Like, it should be a 50-50 partnership. I'm gonna work on your dream because it gets these lights to turn on, but then after these lights turn on, I'm gonna work on my dream. And it's funny because, like, you know, we work overtime or whatever it may be in corporate America. That's the route I decided to go. But we work overtime and we do these things to burn the midnight oil. But then it's like, we come home and we're like, oh, you know, I really need to read that book that's going to better me or make my mind sharper or give me a new perspective on something. And we don't invest that extra energy and oil into that process of making ourselves better to move closer to our dreams. So it's really comes down to, you know, it's good to be, if you're in the corporate world, it's cool to be a good employee and do your job, do it well, do it in excellence. But you got to also make sure that you're doing what for your dream. If your job is not your dream, you got to make sure that you're investing that energy in your dream as well. Because one of the things you said, Brandon, was that joy. If that joy is not there in the journey, then life is kind of like this meaningless process. And you fall into that depression, those suicidal thoughts. I remember having as a youth and into like my early young adulthood, having tons of suicidal thoughts. Locke was there for a lot of them. So he just like, hey, Roro, like, come on, let's pray. Let's talk. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's write a song. He was actually there when I wrote my first 7 album song, when I went through my first divorce. It was just like, I was in such a sad place. And because I was in that sad place, I had to emote that. And I didn't have the mental stamina or endurance or capabilities of emoting it, but I was able to go back to a place of song. And that is something I've always loved, is song and dance. So I went back to song and wrote all these emotions out. And these were some beautiful songs that I wrote. But it was because of the fact that I had really taken my eye off the ball on a lot of my dreams, that I found myself in that situation of being depressed, not just from divorce, but being depressed from being so far off the path that I should have been on in the first place. You got anything else you want to add to that, Locke?
No, that's the key right there. If you're not doing what you know that you're called to do, or what makes you happy or brings you fulfillment and joy, that's where the depression sits in. And honestly, it's not even like, oh yeah, you're not putting in time for your dream. because this society has been set up like literally these cell phones are made to distract you. They're engineered to hold your attention, which is kind of dope. So if you understand dope as in dopamine, so if you understand how it works, the dopamine hits when that bell goes ding. Somebody liked your picture. Oh yeah, I feel good because they like me now. They don't like you, they like your picture. So once you understand it and you start once you understand it and you start feeding into like the way the system works and you become a contributor to the thing versus a consumer, you change the narrative, and now you're able to do the same thing they're doing and start selling to all of these consumers versus consuming everything that's put in front of you.
And you control the message.
Yes, you can control the message. There's not enough people giving people positive messages or giving people messages that empower them, because it's easy to enslave a bunch of powerless people. These phones literally strip you of your knowledge base, because honestly, if you watch World Star 24/7 or every chance you get just so that you can laugh, you are dumbing down your brain. And as much as you want to say, yeah, it's funny, you got to laugh sometimes. Yes, you got to laugh sometimes, but not all the time. Like, when you learn.
Right.
Before, I was listening to Gary Vee, and he's like not really my favorite dude, but he spit some basic knowledge. And his basic knowledge is so basic, but it's not being given anymore. So his basic knowledge is now epic knowledge to this generation that doesn't understand basic things. And I'm like, whoa.
That's like,
and it made me realize.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's like being malnourished. And then after you go so long without eating, you know me, I don't like bananas. But if, I'm 10 days without food in my stomach and somebody brings a banana around, I might bite into it and be like, oh my God, what is this wonderful creation? I haven't liked bananas this whole time. It's not that I like bananas now. It's that I've been starving. I've been malnourished. And so any kind of nutrients, any kind of nourishment is going to taste like a filet mignon steak in my mouth, because of the fact that it's been so long that I've gone without. So I agree with you on that dopamine concept.
So yeah, that's it. So basically, control your dopamine levels, and then sell these kids some dope. Holla.
So we're coming towards the end. We're at about 48 minutes right now. I want to give everybody a chance in the chat to either post any questions that you have or any comments that you want to add, so that we can shout those out before the end of the show. One of the things I do want to say is something that Key said. I just call people by what I call them by anyway. He said motivation is like taking a shower. You don't just take a shower. You don't just take one shower and it lasts forever. You got to shower every day and motivate yourself every day. I'd rather be inspired than motivated, because motivation doesn't last, but inspiration can last a lifetime, because with inspiration comes purpose. I want you to touch on that really quick, because you touched on in the beginning about, following that purpose, following your path, because that's what you're here for. What about for those people who don't know? They're not clear. I feel like there's always something inside of you that knows. But what about for those people who are unclear on their path, unclear on their purpose for why they're here? How would you recommend them to get in touch with that path and that purpose? Like, what are some of the tools they could use?
Honestly, when you're young, you go on this I would say this age of exploration, where you explore the things you like, you explore the things you don't like, and you play and you see stuff. When you're playing, you figure out what you like real quick. Like, yo, stop playing. That ain't funny. Or you're like, yo, this is fun. Let's keep going. And then you start learning what you love. You start learning, like when we were making beats, I remember we would run from Billy's house to Mr. C's house because he had the keyboard.
Right.
And we would spend so many hours playing on that keyboard, taking turns, that it would be like, yo, like, that was fun. Nobody had to tell us spend 12 hours in the studio making stuff on this keyboard. Like, it was so much fun that we just did it. We would ride that weirdo bike with the wheels falling off of it from Billy's house by South Ave all the way down the street from the church, almost get bit by Charles the dog Chomper, and then spend the whole day making a beat, and then take that beat that we just made, walk down the street with the keyboard to the church, plug it in, and rap to it.
Right.
So it's like we did it because we loved it and it was fun. We found what we love and we found what made us happy, and then we did more of it. So when you find something that you love and you find something that makes you happy, this is the craziest thing ever. This dopamine-filled phone lets you or empowers you to be able to create what you love and monetize it, which is so backwards. Like the new generation, they understand it. I got this girl named Maria Renji, and she's killing it. She got 1 million followers on Musical.ly, and she is learning how to monetize her network. She just turned 19. What the heck? Like, and then all the OGs like, well, she can't dance. She don't know what she's doing. Stupid. She got 1 million followers. You got 1,500, and you've been on it for 10 years. Like, she's doing something that you're not. Stop worried about her dance ability right now. She's 19. She ain't supposed to be amazing yet.
But she's working. She's honing her craft. She's working on her craft.
She's understanding what these phones do, and she's building a network through those phones. We are like, well, these phones are making kids stupid. Yeah, they are making kids stupid, but how can I use the phone to make myself smart?
Make myself smart.
All of the knowledge of the world is packed into the palm of your hand every day. All you have to do is choose to use it. Google it.
Right.
You want to learn? I want to learn astrophysicists. Boy, type it in, and Google will give you all the best websites for it.
You know, it's funny because I went on WorldStar the other day, and it was my first time actually on WorldStar in my entire life.
Oh, rude awakening.
Yeah. But I went on WorldStar. The reason I went on there, because I know it's a popular website, but I went on there to see what I could find on WorldStar that was promoting positivity. And I found a few things, but it was very interesting to like click on a positive video and watch the positive video. And then the next video that pops up was like trash. And
wait. WorldStar is like the Walmart of the internet.
That's Wikipedia. You can make up any definition on Wikipedia, but WorldStar is a close second.
Whoa!
But it's crazy to be on something because we both know the power of the internet. Like you said, you got information database in the palm of your hands, but unfortunately, you're the pilot. You got the controller where you fly to with that mouse, and you double clicking on, as Cousin Mo would say, you double clicking on booty pics, trying to like booty pics because that's what you've decided to fly to. When there's other airports and other locations that you can fly to that are going to uplift you and help you grow and make you into a better person. So I want to. We're at about 7 minutes left for the show tonight, but I want to give you an opportunity to provide some points from this conversation. Like if you were to give 2 or 3 points from this conversation that you want people to take with them tonight after this conversation, what would those be? And then also give me your closing thoughts.
I would say the key point is if you believe in yourself past the point of belief and moving into faith, and you put that action in, you can make anything that you want come to life. Anything, like faith principles, as much as they're like, oh yeah, it's the secret or the universe or whatever you want to call it, the faith principles work. But the cool part is it works whether you're working or not. So whatever you believe the most happens. So if you're believing, oh man, I'm gonna have a terrible day, man. Every time I touch something, the day gets worse. And then you wonder why your day keeps getting worse, because your faith is actively working with your words and with what you're doing. So one, believe what you want. Say what you want, like really want, not what you have. Say what you really want and put your faith behind it. And then 2, don't be lazy. You got to work, like Redman would say. Do your thing. You got to put in the grind. Like everybody sees what I do on social media, but they don't see the 8 hour. Like, you know, a lot of people be like, yo, I'm in the studio training, son. And they be showing a picture of them training, but they sitting down when they're saying it. And then you see their homie post 10 minutes later, yo, we in the studio training. And That same dude's still sitting in that same chair looking at social media. And the 3 hours of them training is actually only 15 minutes, and the rest is them sitting down looking at social media.
Mm.
That's not work. That's like you distracted. You got sucked into the matrix. Like, you got to work. Like, the more work you put in, you'll see it in your results. And like I can attest to it with Kevron, because that fool, last time I seen him, I was like, dang fool, you ain't stopped putting weights down, huh? Like, bruh, what happened? Like, you got a muscle on your muscle. Like, so he put in the work and he get the results. So now I'm like, okay, if I want to get ripped, I gotta really put in this work. There's no way around it. Like, if you want to look good, you know what you got to do. If you want to have bars, you know what you got to do. If you want to be the best salesman in the world, this internet will teach you how to do it, and it's easy. But it also distracts you if you really let it. So find a way to dodge the distractions and extract the greatness that this device allows you to have.
Mm. You know, it's funny because you said you got to put in the work. I forget what movie this is. I think Dennis Leary was the actor in the movie, but somebody who doesn't matter. Somebody had said, "Oh, I know a shortcut," and he was like, "Oh, is the shortcut easier?" And he was like,
"It's like, no. If it was easier, it would just be the way."
Yes,
it was Road Trip. That was okay. Tom Green.
There we go. So it's that you got to do the work, and if you're not willing to do the quote unquote shortcut work, which is an abundance of information and education, and it doesn't necessarily be in institutional education, but it requires education to get the information. If you're not willing to do that, then you got to take maybe the long route, but you still got to be willing to do that work. There is no shortcut that has no work attached to it, because yes, you get to the location ill prepared.
So this is a good nugget that was given to me that really helped me a lot, because I'm editing videos, I'm creating choreography, I'm making music, I'm learning lighting, I'm learning like all this crazy stuff, and it's a lot for one person. And they're like, how do you do all this? My friend Dietrich, super crazy YouTuber, had broke down something to me. He said, to master learning, you don't have to spend as many hours as somebody who mastered it did. If you understand the language of whatever it is you're trying to do, so you're trying to do real estate, learn all the language of it, and then surround yourself with the best in the world at that, and you will be able to understand how the best in the world functions, and you will upgrade. You'll jump. It's called jump something. You're jumping levels basically. And then if you want to be the best NBA player or basketball player in the world, learn the lingo, and then put yourself around the best in the world. And the cool part about the internet is it gives you access to the best in the world at everything. You can study anybody. You can study their history, who they learned from, who they watched, everything. And if you understand the lingo of whatever it is you're trying to learn, and you understand the language of it, you can literally extract the knowledge from the best at that craft and skip levels that would normally take you 10 years to learn. You can learn in 3. So there's a little secret and nugget of joy that is actually, I thought, yeah, whatever. And I started learning it, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. It works.
Now you're leaving meetings with VPs.
Yeah, for real. And I'm like, how did I end up in this meeting? Like, what? So it's there. Learn the language. Language is our keywords, priceless. Those keywords can change everything. So learn the language. And that would be my nugget of joy that I would say for everybody. Learn those keywords, and then learn to put yourself around the right people.
All right. Well, I want to close with that because we're now at an hour in. I want to make sure I give at least an opportunity to provide the tools for the first row. I always, if you've been on an Intersation before, I always like to close out with a couple of tools that kind of come to me while I'm thinking about these topics or creating this content. And so I have about 4 or 5 tools that I want to share with you guys tonight when it comes to still dreaming or still dreamin. And I hope you guys got a pen, because I always have a pen. I'm always taking notes. But if not, don't worry. You can watch the replay and catch it. So the first tool that came to my mind is that we have to learn not to limit our dreams. So when I was a child, I used to play with Legos, and my Legos were only limited by my imagination. Like, they were limited by how they could connect and my imagination. So, I mean, I had tons of adventures with these Legos, and the challenge for me was being able to create new things. But here's what happened. As I got older, I played less and less with my Legos. So I kind of lost my craft on the Legos and lost my chance of being a Lego architect, which I'm okay with because I don't have that much patience now. But the thing that I noticed is that the limit, instead of it can go either way. It can either grow, you can be limitless, you can grow to almost infinity, or you can put these self-created artificial barriers on your dreams. So for me, what's most important is not limiting my dream by what I think that I can achieve only simply based upon today. I want to be able to add things to my dream as I go. So right now, 2 months ago, I started off and I was like, I want to have 100 YouTube subscribers. Well, now I have that. So now I want to have the next 100 and the next 100 and the next 100. And it's always, for me, probably going to be in increments of 100, maybe eventually be increments of 1,000 or 1,000,000. I'll be okay with that as well. But always wanting to continue to grow and expand my influence so that I can truly work to be every day that world changer. Does it mean that I'm perfect? No. Does it mean that I always have every area of my life together? No. But that's not a requirement for me pursuing my dreams. I don't have to have every area of my life together. I don't have to have the perfect plan and the perfect box that's ready for me to open up and experience to pursue my dreams. I just have to have that hunger and that drive and that willingness to do the work, that work ethic, to go after it every day with all the energy that I have available to me to do it. So that's the first thing. The first tool is just simply don't limit your dreams. Let your imagination run wild and just see where it takes you. We'll just see. The second thing is start building your dream today. Again, there's this thing called what is it, Locke? Maybe you know. It's called something paralysis. I forget what it's
paralysis?
Called. No, it's not sleep paralysis. I have suffered from that once before. I forget what it's called, but it's some type of analysis paralysis, where you get into this mindset of, okay, I'm going to analyze this, and you're walking through all these hypotheticals to the point where you never actually take action. So you have to learn, I'm working on not saying you have to do things, because this is a channel where you got a choice on what you do, but it's important for us to attempt to start building our dream. The day you see it, start building it. Because like Locke said in the beginning is, he started underground. I think I said it, but he said it took work, a lot of work. And he had these moments where he was questioning if the work was going to yield a result, if the work was going to bring the outcome that he desired. But it's that work that he was putting in on that day-to-day basis, even before he understood what it was that was going to be necessary for his dream. That work that he was putting in was what built the foundation for the things that he's experiencing today. A lot of people in employment in corporate America are like, I should have got that promotion, or they need to promote me, or they should be paying me more money. But the thing is that when the opportunity comes up to make more money, when the opportunity comes up to promote or to even leave companies and take on other opportunities, when those opportunities come up, you find that some people are ill prepared for those opportunities. Thus, they cannot seize those opportunities when they present themselves. So be willing to start building your dream today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait until you get a good night's sleep tonight. Start tonight. Just simply write down, even if all you write down on a piece of paper tonight is dream. Start there and add to that list. Guarantee yourself or promise yourself you're going to add something to that list every day, and you will find yourself starting to move into the direction of your dream. Your dream it'll almost feel like your dream is pulling you to it, and you're not moving towards it. It's pulling you to it. So the third thing is that I want to share.
He over here hard up in the comments. He's like, man, don't let the perfect get in the way of the action.
Oh, who said that?
Who said that? Key.
Ooh, I like that. Yes, don't let the perfect get in the way of the action. Well, I'm gonna steal that on the replay. I'm gonna edit it out and say I said that.
You got to work.
But number 3 is find a way to keep dreaming. So as adults, now that we're older as adults and we're not the young men we used to be, it's easy to allow society to suck your dream out of you, to allow life experiences to suck your dream out of you, to keep you from wishing on that star. It's easy for that to happen, and it's easy to fall in that behavior, and it's hard to pull out of that behavior. So find a way to hold on to your dreams. Don't let people steal them. You got to be careful who you share your dreams with, because some people will silently smile in your face, but silently be hating behind your back and try to sabotage your dreams. So you have to be very protective of your dream. But be in a it's weird. It's like be protective, but be in a state of openness that allows you to invite those who are supposed to be in your dream, or invite those who are supposed to participate in you achieving your dreams and maybe them achieving their dreams. Invite them into your space and let that energy bounce off of each other. That's one of the reasons why I have Locke here on tonight, is because I've grown up with him. I've seen what he's gone through. I mean, there's been some things where, you know, we almost had to beat some people up in our lives. So right, you hear the call, you better answer. So I invite people like this because I realize that there's a dream he's working to pursue, and there's a dream I'm working to pursue and to go after. And those dreams will help each other grow, whether it's on YouTube or just calling him to see how he's doing, keep him encouraged, him keeping me encouraged, us doing a knowledge swap, whatever it may be. You want to make sure you invite those types of people into your dream, but be protective of your dream at the same time. So that's how you find a way to keep dreaming. Number 4 is appreciate and or be grateful for the process. Going back to Key's muscles, you know, it's easy when you're under the weights to want to stop pushing. But if you want to have the strength that you need for semi-pro football, then you're going to have to keep pushing that weight. You're going to have to find a way to seek joy out of that process. You're going to have to find a way to be patient in that process, to let the results to let the results catch up to the work. So for your dreams, it's the same way. You have to appreciate the process. I appreciate the fact that I have increased my vocabulary and increased my ability to articulate my thoughts through YouTube, through video, through reading, through conversation. I am appreciative of that. There was a time where if I got mad at you, the words you were going to hear started with like 3 to 5 letters. Like that was it. And now I'm to a place where even if I'm irritated or agitated, I can use a very complex or a very simple vocabulary to get my point across. So the same thing with your dreams. You want to be able to enjoy that process, because as you're building up in those challenges, even in the growing pains, as you're building up, you're going to be able to step higher and higher, which is going to lead you closer and closer to your dream. And then when you actually get to your dream, you'll probably look back and say, man, I kind of forgot all the work that I did to get here, but it's good to be here. And that's how a lot of things are happening for me. And I'm sure for you, Locke, a lot of things are happening for you as you're traveling around the world and you're seeing like, wait, you mean I put my hand like this and it actually controls the crowd? But it took those moments where you put your hands, everybody put your hands in the air and say, hey, and nobody says anything. And everybody looks at you like your dream is stupid or your dream is foolish. It took those moments for you to appreciate the moment that you're in now. So enjoy the process, appreciate the process, be grateful for the process of moving towards your dreams. And then
that is gold right there.
The last tool I have, and it's kind of back to appreciating and enjoying the process, is be driven, but be patient. You know, we live in a world like Locke was saying, where our cell phones get us a lot of things instantaneously. So there's a lot of instant gratification at our fingertips. My cell phone is charging right now because I've worn its battery out today. Fortunately, I was doing productive things and not unproductive things, but still I wore the battery out nonetheless. So it's charging for its next round before I probably go to bed. but you have to have this drive that pushes you, that keeps you hungry, that keeps you grinding, that keeps you moving in the direction towards your dream. But you have to realize that one of my favorite sayings is I became successful overnight, but it wasn't last night. See, a person who really obtains success, a person who obtains their dreams, realizes that it's a journey to get there. It's not going to be like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep tonight and I'm going to wake up and tomorrow my YouTube channel is going to have 1 million followers because somebody's going to share this video and it's going to go viral. That's not what it is. I've been making videos for over 2.5 years, and I'm just getting to YouTube to start putting these videos on here as content. So there's 2.5 years of me doing videos and building my own content for myself that are now paying off when I'm trying to interact with other people to create content for a dual audience, or I'm sorry, for a dual conversation. So those are the things that I got. Again, I'm just going to really briefly tap them out to you. Number 1 is don't limit your dreams. Number 2 is start building your dream today. Number 3, find a way to keep dreaming. Number 4, appreciate and be grateful for the process. And number 5 is be driven, but be patient. Drive with a sense of urgency, but make sure you get to the location safely. So that's all I got for you today. I appreciate you guys tuning in and vibing with us on these Intersations. They're very fun for me. I hope you guys are enjoying them as well. Feel free. I mean, even if you come back on the replay and tap in the comments, feel free to share your thoughts, your opinions about them. And anything that you want to add to the conversation, I'm happy to engage with you there. Later this week, tomorrow is Wednesday. It is Halloween. So if you celebrate, great. If you don't, great. It doesn't make me either way. But there will be a Wednesday word tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The topic is the power of effective teams. So I didn't mention that in dreams, but who you surround yourself with will help increase you. So that nugget you shared, Locke, was right, spot on, where who you're surrounding yourself with will upskill you. So make sure you tune in tomorrow if you have the opportunity to, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the power of effective teams. Other than that, Locke, if you could say goodnight to the people, I'd appreciate it. Did I lose you?
Good night to the people. I appreciate y'all. Quick shameless plug. The album drops Thursday. Nobody Knows is going to be everywhere. This is actually in cooperation with Water Dance. So me and Wad teamed up and we're releasing the album to the world. So Nobody Knows. So like Bo knows, but it's nobody, and it's coming out. So yeah, if y'all get a chance to stream it, share it, do whatever you want to do with it, and just show your boys some love. Tag me on Instagram, Nobody916, because I represent SAT. Yeah.
And Nobody is KNOW. No knowledge, nobody, all one word. So definitely, and it's not even a shameless plug, bro. I'm glad you're plugging the album. I would have plugged it, but I didn't have all the details to plug it. So I'm looking forward to drop after all the music that we've made together and all the music that you've made independently and with other people. I'm happy to support it. So if y'all can go out and get the album, at least stream it so you can hear it, hear the content, and start filling yourself with positive vibes. Other than that, as always, thank you guys for tuning in. I look forward to engaging with you guys in the comments below, and I've enjoyed engaging with you guys in the chat. Until the next Intersation, actually scratch that. Until the Wednesday word tomorrow, one love, peace, and God bless.
Peace.